Okay, hi guys. I want to answer. I wrote a little answer on the post of Amanda, but here I want to answer by speaking. Right, those two very interesting questions. How the first one was how to improve our pronunciation, and I think, guys, that the most important thing is listening and repeating, right? So your ear gets used to listen to some sounds, and you repeat it, right? And obviously making these kinds of videos are very useful to improve your pronunciation, because after you made it, you can check it and see and watch your mistakes, right? So I strongly recommend you guys make videos to as a way to improve your pronunciation. And the other answer is very interesting, right? It's also very interesting, and that's why I put this T-shirt, right? Because about this topic, uh, should we choose a specific accent when we work on our pronunciation? And I think really I think that English has a common trunk, right? So in on the at the majority of times, uh, I think that you don't need to choose an accent, right? Because there are the the the, the most the majority of the words, I think, that don't have a specific accent. But there are some that I think that perhaps you have to focus on a specific accent. Um, I saw some videos here and read some answers, and I feel that there is a bias to American accent, and really I understand it, right? Because the American accent is the most global dialect used, I think, right? The business language, all it's the I think that it's the more common, and I really understand that bias. And I agree with that in in a lot of ways, to say it in that form. Um, Really, and even more, where I live in South America, and here in these countries there is more influence of the American accent, right? I think if you in schools, when you the English classes are in American accent, so when we are when we grow up, when we go to school, the child's the the specific subjects that they have in English is in American accent, right? And I noticed that when I was to Australia 4 years ago, and I tried to talk a little bit with the natives on some or non-natives in some situations there in Australia, and I noticed that I have developed an American accent, because that is really what we learn in schools, right? I'm talking about the the typical subjects of English in school, 2 hours per week, not more than that, right? But there is a clear bias, right, to American accent. But really, I think that we as English learners, really we are not natives, we shouldn't make a really strong decision um, to follow a specific accent, right? Because we can learn English from a lot of sources, right? You in in fact, in a moment, I thought that I wanted to only listen to Australian accent, right? But then I realized that I was in a great mistake, right? Because I can learn so much from Americans, British, Australian, and non-natives. I can learn very much from. I've listened English from Russians and even from Spanish people, right? My language, because there are so many details in Spanish that from so many details about the translation from Spanish to English and vice versa that make that so useful, right? Very useful to listen to Spanish speakers explain in English, right? My language, right? And so don't turn away, don't turn those accents away, right? Because they are there, that those accents are very useful. So if you make a choice for American accent, okay, focus on some specific words, right? So that some specific sounds. I think that is what you should do if you choose a specific accent, American accent. Focus on some sounds, but don't turn other accents away, because you can learn so much from other accents, right? So that is my piece of advice about it. Um, I and finally, I want to I want to sing you. I want to tell you, talk you about another suggestion that I have for you guys to develop your pronunciation, which is learning songs. It's a great way to develop your pronunciation. And by the way, we are talking about accents, and I told you that I have a bias to Australian accent. That is because I have an uncle who lives in Australia, and I have a more close relation with the Australian culture, right? But I want to answer. I want to give you this tip about learning songs, because in the songs, right, there are lots of parts that are like tongue twisters, right? So by that way you can practice on that tongue twisters that are in the songs, and you can develop your muscles. I don't know how to say it, the muscles of your mouth, right, to pronounce that tongue twisters. And you in by that way you can practice that pronunciation, right? So now I want to give you an example of this. I have learned two very Australian songs, that have helped me a lot in my pronunciation and to develop this this um, pronunciation Australian accent. But as I said to you, don't make a very strong decision. You must learn from all kind of accents. I want to sing you these two songs to give you this example. Okay. Waltzing Matilda. This is a folk song. These two songs I have sang it in the past, right? But I want to give you this example, and now I'm talking about the accent, so that's why I want to sing it. Um, this is a folk song, a very folk song from Australia. Once a jolly swagman camped by a billabong, under the shade of a coolibah tree, and he sang as he watched and waited till his billy boiled. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me, waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda, you'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. And he sang as he watched and waited till his billy boiled. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. Down came a jam back to drink at the billabong. Up jumped the swagman and grabbed him with glee, and he sang as he shoved that jam bag in his tucker bag. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me, waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda, you'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. And he sang as he shoved that jam bag in his tucker bag. You come a waltzing Matilda with me. Up rode the squatter, mounted on his thoroughbred. Down came the troopers, 1, 2, 3. Where's that jolly jam bag that you've got in your tucker bag? You come a waltzing Matilda with me, waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda, you'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. Where's that jolly jam bag that you've got in your tucker bag? You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. Up jumped the swagman, leapt into the billabong. You'll never take me alive, said he, and his ghost may be heard as you pass by the billabong. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me, waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda, you'll come a waltzing Matilda with me, and his ghost may be heard as you pass by the billabong. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. Okay, this is a Australian folk song, and it is full of Australian words, right? So it's not easy to understand because it has relationship with the Australian culture. So if you want to develop, I think that if you want to develop a knowledge of some specific culture, some specific accent, it's a great idea to learn a folk song about that country. For example, in the USA, there was a very nice song that somebody uploaded lots of time ago here in Kangulo English, called "You Are My Sunshine, My Only Sunshine." Okay, I don't remember it right because I didn't learn that song, but that is an example of an American song, right? So I think that it's a good idea to learn a song that has relationship with the land, right? And and I want to sing you guys the Australian anthem. So by this way I can talk you a little bit more about this this bias that I have to the Australian accent. Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair. Beneath our radiant Southern Cross we'll toil with hearts and hands to make this commonwealth of ours renowned of all the lands. For those who've come across the seas with boundless plains to share, with courage let us all combine to advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair. Okay, well these are two great Australian songs, and I really don't know how long I have been recording. I think that I have been recording by nearly perhaps 20 minutes. It's really has been too long, but it was really fun, and thank you, obviously thank you for every time for the opportunity to practice English, and for giving us Amanda for giving us a new idea about a topic to talk about. Okay, that's all for now, guys. Bye bye.